Should you pull for Vaan's FR Echo? His role is going to be a magic attacker. His notable attacks: Red Spiral, his skill 1. It is 3 HP attacks. It upgrades to his plus version after using it once. The plus version does 4 HP attacks instead. After he uses the skill 1, it triggers his follow-up attack, Whiteout. It is another 3 HP attacks. It grants the buff Flight to Freedom for 16 turns, and it upgrades to the plus version if the Red Spiral also had the plus version, and that is another 4 HP attacks. So in total, you're getting 8 HP attacks. White Whirl, his skill 2, it is another 3 HP attacks. It upgrades to the plus version after 1 use. The plus version is a bit different from his skill 1 in that it is still 3 HP attacks, but you also have a 120% splash at the end. Like his skill 1, it also grants the buff Flight to Freedom for 16 turns, and it also has its own follow-up. It's called Luminescence, in which it does 3 HP attacks with 120% splash at the end. It inflicts Group Blind for 1 turn, and it upgrades to the plus version if Vaan is using White World Plus, and that is 4 HP attacks with 120% splash, and it grants again Flight to Freedom for 16 turns. Pyroclasm, the EX, it is 4 HP attacks with 150% splash. It grants again the buff Flight to Freedom for 8 turns. It upgrades to plus whenever Vaan is buffed with Flight to Freedom. The only difference between the plus version and the regular version is the plus version triggers Pyroclasm twice. Earthen Eruption, his LD, it is 6 split HP attacks. It grants the buff Flight to Freedom for 8 turns, and it grants another buff of his called Mist for 4 turns. Whenever Mist is active, Vaan is able to always have free skill ability uses. He has a 20% max brave floor. Having a max brave floor basically means that Vaan's brave, no matter what it is, it will never fall below 20%. You're never going to get below 20%. That's what the floor means. And as a final bonus, it gives fixed additional HP damage by 10% of the HP cap. Rapid Chase, his FR, it grants Mist again for 4 turns, gives the free ability use on the entire party for 2 turns, and whenever anyone is using a free use ability, Vaan's FR grants an HP cap up of 20%. Calamitous Orb, his BT, it is 8 turns in which Vaan gets another HP cap up of 50%, party gets a 30% HP cap up, and the entire team gets a 50% max brave floor. No one's brave can fall below 50% ever. Force conditions, you get a 50% whenever anyone is using a free skill ability. You see green numbers next to your skill. That means it's free. You get an extra 20% whenever Vaan uses a free skill ability, and a final 30% when the party brave is above 20% after moving. Some good pros of Vaan: you got a lot of good HP cap ups for him. Despite the fact that his attacks don't do nearly as many HP attacks as many other DPS units, he doesn't have as many HP dumps, but with the huge amount of HP cap ups that he has, his damage will still be comparable to them. Vaan also has a very fun thing in his kit where he almost always hits for weak damage. He is a multi-element magic attacker, meaning unless the boss was resistant or absorbent to every single element available, Vaan is going to be hitting for weak damage, always. A cool thing with Vaan is that him providing brave floors indirectly prevent your team getting broken. This is excusing, of course, guaranteed break attacks. That's still going to happen, but for any other regular brave damage attack or brave reduction attack, Vaan's floors are gonna take care of that. Your party's never gonna get broken. And I find that very great from a defensive perspective. This is a bit of a less emphasized part of Vaan's kit, but the fact that his White Whirl Plus version consistently gives the enemy blind and they can't hit you because of that, it's surprisingly underrated and very, very helpful, actually. Moving on to his FR next, it's actually very good if you know how to use it properly. If you've consistently fulfilled all the conditions that Vaan has, you're gonna be doing big numbers. Big numbers. Your team's going to be hitting 70%, and Vaan is going to be hitting 100% whenever he moves. It does require some planning, and it does require some team building, but if you can manage it, his FR is freaking crazy. Let's move on to Vaan's cons. You'll be very surprised to hear this. I actually don't have very many cons for Vaan. Vaan isn't really that broken anymore, but overall, he's just a very solid unit. There's very little wrong with it. The only real con that I can find with Vaan is his force conditions are pretty strict. Like I said before, if you know how to use it, his FR is great. But if you don't know how to use it, your numbers are going to be very low. It also doesn't help the fact that Vaan's LD and FR doesn't satisfy the first 2 conditions. So whenever Vaan has to refresh the party's free skill uses, or if he needs to refresh his Mist buff, you're only getting 30% with those turns. And that, it hurts. I'm not going to lie. And you have to rely on the fact that Vaan can give the party consistent free skills, because if you're not using those free skills, Vaan's FR straight up sucks. It's terrible. And that's the only con I have of him, really. Other than that, he's really solid. My should you pull rating for Vaan is an S-. Is he the most broken DPS unit in the game? Absolutely not. But overall, he's just very, very, very solid. If you're hurting for a DPS unit and you want consistency, I think Vaan is going to be relevant for quite a while after his FR boards. Would he be worth chasing after if you're a new player or if you don't have Vaan already greened? I guess it would just depend on what kind of attackers you have available to you. If you don't have a lot of attackers, or if you have mainly melee attackers and you want some magic or elemental, maybe consider Vaan. That's my should you pull. Thank you guys so much for watching with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.